Hi, my friends. Welcome back to A Sexy Confident Life. I first of all just want to ask you how you're doing and to tell you that I hope that you are doing fantastic. I'm really thinking about you right now, and I'm thinking about those of you that have been listening to this podcast and tuning in each week. I just want to tell you how grateful I am for the fact that you do show up, you do listen, and for those of you that are giving me feedback, it is fuel to my soul. Let me just tell you, because all these topics that I bring up each and every week are really near and dear to my heart. You know, they're things that I think about regularly. They're topics that come up very often when I'm working with clients. And they're things that are so important to me in my life that the fact that I can share these insights with you and share these high performance, practices and habits and principles with those of you that want to get better, you want to elevate your life in some way, you're looking for that ongoing pursuit of self-mastery. That's really what this is all about. You know, in order to live that sexy, confident life, it takes work. It takes investing some time in yourself and to truly actually self-evaluate, regularly where you're at, where you want to go, and how you're performing currently in your life. So first of all, I'm thinking of you, and I hope you're doing great. And if you're not, I'm so glad you're here today, because I'm going to talk about 7 different ways to get your mind right. And getting your mind right, to me, I feel is really kind of, what? My success in life is truly based on how strong I feel mentally. Not necessarily how strong I am physically, what size or shape I am, but truly how strong you feel mentally, like your mental stamina. Because our mind and what we truly have going on upstairs is what guides and directs our everyday actions and behaviors. And, we tend to judge ourselves harshly and perceive our wins and losses a certain way. But, when we have a strong mind, it really controls that attitude, right? That daily attitude and the ability that we have to focus and get things done and avoid stress and emotional roller coasters, the ups and downs that really allow us that healthy body from the inside out. So mindset and mental stamina is what this is about today, because, when was the last time that you were crushing it in life? Maybe it's right now. Maybe you're like freaking crushing it in life and you feel really good right now. Or maybe it's not right now, but you can remember back to a time when you felt like you were on fire. I want you to think about that, because you got to ask yourself, in order to get on board with what I'm going to go over today and why it might even be worth it for you to take this advice and to get your mind right and to actually implement these 7 different strategies for getting your mind right. Because if you don't really value this, this practice or these practices, because you don't really believe in the ways they can enhance your life, you won't take action. It's just like everything, right? If people don't believe that adding, pre and probiotics to their gut health diet is going to help improve digestion, elimination, and overall internal health, they won't take them. You have to actually believe that stuff matters in order for you to do it, right? That's why I do it every day, because it's a value of mine. I believe it. And we have to believe that the only way to crush it in life is to elevate our mental strength and stamina, right? So I want you to think about that time in your life. And then I want you to ask yourself those questions like, okay, was my mental game on point when I was crushing it? Most likely, yeah, it was. You were mentally alert and happy, right? That joy. Maybe you were crushing it at work and you were, engaged and positive. Those are the things that you feel that are happening for you when you're crushing it. And that has a lot to do, pretty much most to do, with your mental strength and stamina. Because think about the opposite, If you were crushing it in life, most likely your mental game wasn't dragging, right? You were not mentally fatigued, tired, depressed, disconnected, negative, all those things that tend to just suck the life out of you, right? So think about how important it is to get your mind right. I truly feel there's nothing more important than brain health. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how we take care of our brain health and building that mental strength in order to crush it. Because fitness comes easy when you're fully energized and you feel good about yourself. Doesn't it? Don't you feel like working out and you feel good and positive and all good about yourself? And productivity comes easy as well when you're not tired and you're focused and you're clear-minded. So these are the things that are so important. And if you get fully on board and you say, wow, Anna, you're right. I'm not really crushing it in life because my mental strength and stamina isn't where it should be. I'm dragging. I feel tired. I feel disconnected. I have low energy. I have no focus. I don't feel clear-headed. And that mental fog and that mental fatigue are things that are happening due to the neglect to these 7 different habits, and maybe more, right? Because I know that there's a lot more than 7 things that we can do for our mental strength and stamina. I'm going to give you 7. And, later on in this podcast, I hope that you'll take action and join my 7 days of mind management challenge. It's a 7-day mini course on training yourself on these behaviors that make a difference. They elevate your life. Because truly, when you have that mental strength and stamina, nothing can get in your way. Nothing. But a lot of us are neglecting these simple habits and behaviors because we're lazy, my friends. There's no easy way to say it, and there's no kind way to say it. It is an inability to commit to what matters most. Most of us have that problem because we've never trained ourselves. We've never disciplined ourselves. We've never made it a priority. And it's easy to put things on the back burner and not do things when they're not a priority or when we don't really value them or see the benefits to that. Right? So stop and think to yourself right now, hey, do I want to start crushing it? Do I really want to start elevating my relationships and elevating my game in my career and take myself to the next level in my fitness and in my health? Do I want to feel better about myself and be more positive and energetic? If the answer is yes, take this seriously. I care about you. And I know it's not easy. Trust me, I've not always practiced these things, okay? And I know they're not easy, but you can take the first steps. One first step is listening. Listening to these 7 different ways of enhancing your mental strength and stamina. And the second thing is starting just by taking action and just trying a few of them. Implement 1 or 2 into your life. Start slow. Maybe join the 7 days of mind management and get into that program and put yourself through 7 days of that practice and implementation. Because the best way to become a true believer in anything is to experience it for yourself. I say that to my clients all the time. They want to know what I eat for healthy foods and what supplements I take and all these things. And I tell them, but you know what? I'm like, until you try it, until you give it a shot and you feel and experience the difference, you're never a full true believer. And people used to tell me, you should really do yoga, Anna. It's so amazing. And I used to be like, yeah, I'm all good. I like to strength train. I like to run. I like sports. I'm all set with yoga. And then I tried it. And yes, it was hard the first time, right? But then I did it again. And it was still hard. And as I continued to do it, I started to feel and experience the benefits, and it became a necessity. It became one of those things that I fully believed in because I had done the work, I had invested the time, and I tried. So I want you to try. I want you to give yourself this opportunity to add some new things to your mental strength and stamina game. So these are going to be very easy, and I'm going to run through them pretty quickly because the only way for you to fully get the benefit is if you actually do these things. So I'll make this quick. My majority of this podcast episode is about really influencing you to take a step back and think about how you're doing mentally so that you can start to crush it in life. And if you want to elevate yourself to the next level, you'll take these steps seriously and you'll do some of these things. Number one, I know you're going to all be like, oh, I knew she was going to say this. Meditation. Now, I know that meditation can be overwhelming for some people, and I actually have some high-performance students right now that still haven't yet gotten consistent with meditation. And this is what I told a student yesterday. Clients. I like to call them clients. I told one of my clients, I said, listen, if you're having trouble meditating, I want you to just begin by taking 3 minutes from your desk each day, just 3 minutes, and I encourage you to go for a little walkabout and to not think about work, to just breathe, take 3 minutes, set your phone, give your alarm, put your alarm on, and time yourself. Try to create some white space where you're not thinking about work. That's it. I want you to do that every day when you do it. She's like, but meditation is white space. It's literally not anything very crazy, practice that you have to completely clear your mind and have a quiet room with yoga music or meditation music playing. If you go outside and walk around and just pay attention to the nature or to listen to the birds or, you don't even have to have your eyes closed, but you focus on not thinking about anything else but your present place and state. You're trying to create white space so that all the thoughts that continuously roam around in your mind and go all day long, you think about 100 things, you don't even realize it. But when you take some time and you actually just try to create some space in your thoughts and say, wow, beautiful tree. Oh, listen to the birds. What a beautiful sky. You get yourself into a simplistic state of mind. And that's what it's about, because meditation is a break. It's a break from all the thoughts and the connections happening in your brain. And you've got to create white space. It's good for recovery. It's good for mental health. It's a necessity. And start small. Don't get all crazy. Don't think you got to be like 15, 25, 30 minutes meditation. I do 15 minutes a day. That's it. And I'm getting better and better and better at making sure that there are no other thoughts going on in my mind. But at first, hell yeah, there were. I would be like, oh, get back, turn it back into, get back into it. Stop thinking about that, and that's okay. Because why is it called a meditation practice? Because it takes practice to be good at these things. The second thing I want you to think about is movement. So most people think that exercise is solely so they can burn calories and gain muscle and, work off the donut they had that morning. I don't want you to think about your movement solely for those purposes. Really, if you can move every day, get your heart rate up, get your limbs moving, get your legs moving, get the blood circulating, you are fueling your brain with that fresh blood, and that circulation is going to totally enhance the health of your brain. It's when people are at their desk all day and their shoulders are all up to here, up through their ears, and they're not really moving their body. Those people that you work with. You might do your exercise regularly, but then some days you might feel lazy. You might be like, I don't feel like getting a workout in today. Well, then go for a walk. and do some arm circles and do some side bends and touch your toes and bring your knees to your chest and do a chest opener. It doesn't have to be an aggressive circuit training exercise day for you every day, but movement. Just keep the movement in your mind, okay? And this is going to enhance brain health. So if there is a day where you're tired and you're lazy and you're feeling like, I didn't get up and get my workout in before work, and then after work I'm going to get drinks with friends, so I'm not going to have time to work out there, then you better get out and walk during your lunch break. You better get up out of your chair during the day and do some stretches. You got to move. Don't let yourself be a clam all day, any day. It's going to really jeopardize your mental health and your focus and your ability to think clearly and to feel good and to be happy. These are all things that are triggered by your brain. So move, get the blood circulating. The third thing are brain breaks. Now, this isn't exactly the same as meditation, okay? This is different. This is multiple times throughout the day. Yeah. It's called interval training for your mind. Okay? So if you were to strength train all day long and you're bicep curling and you're squatting and you never took a rest, how do you think your muscles would react? Yeah, you'd be struggling. You'd basically give out. You would, obviously. You're towards the end of a set sometimes where you can almost not do one more repetition of that move. And that is what you're doing to your brain all day when you don't take breaks. So when I say, get out of your chair, try to clear your mind, not think about work, go breathe and take some deep breaths and just take your mind off things for like 2 to 3 minutes, multiple times throughout the day, it's important. Those are rest intervals for your mind. They're highly, highly important. All right? And if you don't believe me, give it a try. Just for one day. Just one day. Be like, all right, I'm setting my alarm for 3 times during my day. I'm going to get out of my chair and I'm going to take 3 minutes and I'm going to not think about my work. Some people can't even do that. And that's okay. If you do it once, I'm proud of you. If you do it twice, even better. If you do it 3 times, you are a master of the mind, my friend, okay? So I encourage you to try. Start slow. Don't have to be perfect at it. Just give it a shot. All right, number 4, breathe. So too often, people do not focus on their breath, right? It's like when you're in a class and you're doing exercise, that's when you mostly focus on your breath because that someone's always screaming at you saying, breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, don't forget to breathe, right? But during your day, when you're at your desk or when you're watching TV or when you're sitting at dinner, you don't tend to take in the breath. How often do you stop during the day and take deep breaths? Never? Once? Twice? Do you know how often I focus on my breath throughout the day? Probably 4, 5, maybe 6 times a day. And only because I've been teaching myself to do it. If I get ready for a call or a presentation or a podcast, right before I go on, I'm breathing deeply. Why? Oxygen. It's called the fountain of youth, people. And it is what fuels your body. We know that, but we don't use it. People want stimulants. People want caffeine. Guess what? Oxygen is your caffeine. Most people that are tired in the middle of the day, because they haven't been breathing. You've been shallow. You've been sitting there all hunched in, not really focusing on your breath. Get it in. And the reason people tell you to breathe it in through your nose is because that is the quickest way to get it into your lungs and that exchange of oxygen to happen into your blood, to get into your cells, to infuse your body. So remember, if you don't ever focus on your breath, there's a reason that you're tired. There's a reason that you don't feel energized. There's a reason that you got foggy brain, right? So the next time you feel tired at your desk, get up, take a brain break, take 10 or 20 deep breaths and tell me that you don't feel better. Please, in the comments below, tell me it didn't work for you. Or you'll realize it did, and you don't have to say anything. You can just be like, thanks, Anna. I appreciate that. That was pretty freaking simple. Why haven't I ever thought of that before? It's only because we just aren't aware of the things that we can do naturally for our body and for our brain that are going to help us survive and thrive in this world. Super easy, right? Number 5, food. Food. Brain fuel, baby. So I talk about food all the time, because obviously we all want to be healthy. We want to, look good. We want to feel toned and strong, and we want to lose unwanted fat. And it's important, obviously, what we put in our mouth, not only for our body, but for our brain. 25% of our calories are consumed by this bad boy. It takes a lot. It consumes a lot. And what we feed ourselves truly dictates how we think. It dictates how we process information. It dictates how clear and productive we can be. I mean, if you have a heavy lunch, there's a reason you want to take a nap after. Your brain wants to sleep too, because everything you just fed it was like sludge. Yeah, give sludge to your brain. That's a great way to get stuff done. No, right? I know I'm being sarcastic, but everybody thinks about food as, ways to diet and ways to lose weight. And I'm like, what about food for your mind? For you to be mentally clear and joyful and feel energized and be in a good mood and release good hormones. It's all connected. People separate brain and body way too often, but they're connected, my friends. Obviously, you know that. But I don't know if you're thinking that. So what you eat is so important. And when I talk about the fact that I eat drink my superfood shake every morning, Shakeology, it's my beast. And people say, oh, well, I don't believe in drinking my food. I'm like, well, wait, you don't believe in just getting extra minerals, nutrients, and superfoods in your body then for your brain and for the cells in your body. Because you know what? It's not about weight loss for me either. It's not about replacing food. It's about giving myself more. And so people that take vitamin D and B complex and taking omega-3s, it's all brain fuel, people. Because when you give your cells that type of nutrition, when you are fueled at a cellular level, quality nutrients, minerals, and things that really make a difference, it all circulates through the brain. And those cells need it more than anything for you to get things done and for you to crush it and have that mental focus and for you to be able to truly feel your best. It starts in your mind. So food. Think of food differently. Think about it as a way to fuel your brain. So next time you decide what you're having for lunch, think about how your brain feels about that. Okay? Number 6, sleep. You knew I was going to say it. It's so on the top picks of all of the things that I teach in high performance is sleep. Weight loss is related very directly to our sleep. Obviously, our brain health, our stress, our mood, all of that. It is so correlated. It's so directly related, right? So it's important that you realize that neglecting this part of your self-care is going to massively impact how you feel, how you think, how you get things done, how you react, your mood, all that stuff. So yeah, go ahead. Stay up till midnight. Get up at 5 because you have no choice. You know what? Everybody has a choice. Maybe the military don't because they're training or they're working for something, but you can decide to go to bed earlier. Yes, the excuse of, I just can't get to sleep. Bull. I'm going to call bull on you because you haven't tried to practice and get yourself into a state of rest and recovery. Most people that can't get to bed early, they are up on their computers or watching TV and they're like, why am I not falling asleep? Oh, I wonder, because your brain is super stimulated by all that screen time. So you've got to have techniques to start to help you wind down. All right, all in my 7 days of mind management. You got to get in there. And the last one, hydration. So right now I'm doing a Crush the Sugar Cravings challenge, and one of the things that I talk about really is not drinking a lot of sugar. So I want you to self-evaluate how hydrated you are. Some people are like, oh, well, I have tea in the morning, and then I drink water, and then I have, a sparkling water for lunch, or, whatever. And for dinner, I'll do a couple glasses of wine. And so you have to look at the balance of the dehydrating fluids that you're drinking, and then the hydrating fluids that you're drinking. And if you're drinking a lot of sugar, those don't count as hydration. Okay? Just so you know, that's like food, right? So if you're drinking juice, don't consider it hydration, even though, sometimes it is, if it's like freshly squeezed or whatnot. But for the sake of your brain health, think about water, agua. You got to fuel it up. Your cells, when they are dehydrated, and usually the signs of dehydration come when your body's seriously dehydrated. And you have it's time to really get yourself back on track. Don't let yourself get to that point. Drink a lot of water throughout the day. Trust me, it's not easy. It's a practice, and it's like, okay, this thing right here I got, right here, this 16 ouncer, I fill this up every hour to the top. Right now I don't have any lemon in it, but usually there'll be a little squeeze of lemon in there if I got some lemons. And it's important that you really, really focus on that hydration, because I do drink coffee, so that's a dehydrant, right? I'm getting dehydrated from coffee, so I got to drink more fluids to combat that. When I was drinking wine, I had to drink way more fluids. When I wake up in the morning, I have one full 16-ounce glass of water before anything else enters my body, because that's when I've gone through the most withdrawal, right? You go through withdrawal throughout the night. I mean, I do have water next to my bed in case I wake up and I need some water. But if you're waking up thirsty, your body is so dehydrated. You are struggling and suffering, my friend. So it's a clear sign that 16-ounce glass of water should be on your nightstand, ready for you to take down when you first wake yourself up, and then all throughout the day. All right? So those are just 7 quick things. And I know I kind of went into detail, but I highly encourage you to start practicing these things, because this is how you get your mind right. It starts with that self-care. Right? And then obviously there are so many other ways to get your mind right when it comes to psychology, and when it comes to productivity, when it comes to persuasion, when it comes to clarity and energy and all that stuff. Yes, I teach it all in my High Performance Life Club. But listen, right now, get into the 7 days of mind management. I'm going to post that link here so that you can get into that and you can try that out, get yourself into that routine. Then if you're ready to take the next step, keep going forward with high performance. Start learning more of those other techniques, getting your mind right so that you can crush it in life. Because you know what? At the end of the day, your performance is your legacy. The way that you wake up, the way that you feel, the way that you behave, the way that you interact with people, the things that you produce. It's not just being busy, babe. It's about producing. I remember, I don't know why I said babe. I think I was that's kind of funny. But I think that it's simply because we have to remind ourselves that when we are busy all day long, doesn't necessarily mean that we did anything meaningful. Because I know when there are days when I'm sick and I don't get anything done, I'm like, well, so what? The world didn't end, right? You can get away with not doing anything on days when you don't feel well. But when you get out there and you create something and you put your full heart and energy into it, and you're mentally focused and clear, and you produce something that matters, you're building your legacy. You're building the trail that you're leaving behind in your life, and that's what you're creating and leaving behind in the world. And those things are important, but they're hard to do when you're tired. They're hard to do when you're foggy brained. They're hard to do when you're, lacking the energy and the mood, and you're feeling negative and down and frustrated and stressed and emotionally low. That is not how you crush it, my friends. And I want you to crush it. I care about that. And I really think that these practices are a great way for you to get started. Are you with me? Awesome, I hope you are. So definitely check out the show notes. Check out my blog, annarenderer.com, where this is also posted. And all the links are also below that blog. And I hope you guys will join us because it is fun to get your mind right. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good time this week. See you next week. Bye-bye.